All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on yet another episode of The Truth with Ben Jokes, your number one political talk show. Now, as Nigeria continues to collapse, TINUBU and his wife Remy are in faraway France having the time of their lives. And just yesterday, Shetima also flew out to Cote d'Ivoire, and it's just fun upon fun for them. And news of these men touring the world dropped concurrently with an interview from a documentary by Vanguard. In that documentary, this couple said these years after relocating to the UK: no future in Nigeria, nothing will make us return. And these updates altogether broke Nigerians earlier today. Months ago, the leadership newspaper reported that the UK had issued 255,000 visas to Nigerians in the 1 year of TINUBU. That is the UK alone. Imagine when you combine what is happening with other countries. And of course, you know the people living are our best hands in all walks of life. This is very serious disaster unfolding before our very eyes. The insecurity, poverty, currency instability, and above all, greed, political greed, is chasing Nigerians away from the land of their birth. And few hours ago, news broke out of the atrocity that is going on in the power sector. This one represents another high dimension of political greed. No wonder TINUBU kept the minister for power, even when he is one of the worst performing ministers. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, a video began making the rounds from the floor of the Senate. Akpabio and the other senators loyal to TINUBU sneaked in an item for deliberation that was not on the original list of items that the Senate sat to deliberate upon today. And what was that item? TINUBU's new tax reform bill. They intend to quickly pass it in a scanty house because they are aware that when the house is full, that bill might not scale through. And the move brought chaos onto the floor of the Senate. Before I show you that video and details of that atrocity being carried out by Minister for Power and TINUBU in the power sector, let me quickly show you this video. You know, when I spoke against the increase in MPR, that is interest rates, by the CBN governor and TINUBU, some people doubted my knowledge on the subject matter, but I knew I was 110% correct. Now watch this video.
Cardozo is what we call from the old book, and what you just say, you just hit in the textbook economy. Textbook economy has not worked in Nigeria, and it will not work. Because when you're talking about textbook economy, when you talk about inflation, it's largely driven by supply distortion or liquidity in the system. Now, if you look at our own inflationary pressure, you have that supply distortion, which is as a result of the high cost of production in the rural areas, especially the farmers. They can't go to farm because of insecurity, which he mentioned. Secondly, again, you have the challenge of liquidity in the system. You remember the printing, they keep using that as an excuse. That is there. But now look at our own precarity, exchange rate volatility. It's not normally a textbook economy that you see where you write that exchange rate could be a pointer to inflationary pressure. Now, what we've been doing since the CBN governor came to power, or what previous administration or current management of the CBN have been doing, is just touching the up. They are not trying to address the fundamental problem of Nigerian inflation. Nigerian current fundamental problem of inflationary pressure, and it will continue no matter what you do, is you have not addressed the exchange rate volatility. Why? 80% of what we consume, we import. Even if we are not importing, the machineries that we use to convert them, we import them. So once exchange rate today is 160, tomorrow is 170, next tomorrow is custom change it today. So it will not work. And I thank God that he said it there. He said that they are looking at the exchange rate to make sure they maintain stability. So exchange rate is our main problem now. And there's no pride in them priding themselves. They're saying that he has about 40.82 billion in foreign reserve now, and yet your exchange rate keep moving to 1,700, 1,800. What is in there for a rich man to say I have so much money and your people are dying of hunger? So the challenge is you have continue to use textbook. Textbook will not work. Nigerian inflation is caused by cost of production. Nigerian inflation is caused by microeconomic policy. Nigerian inflation is caused by by FX rate volatility. These are very strong economic challenges that you cannot just address with 1, 2. So, and when you begin to think about, oh, you want to reduce liquidity. When you reduce liquidity in the system, you are killing one of the most vibrant sectors of the Nigerian economy, which are the small business, which are largely liquidity driven. So, I think they need to look for an inward solution to our problem.
You heard that. And I'm saying this again. CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso does not know anything about the economy of a country like Nigeria. This man has ruined the economy of this country. The interviewer said the same thing I said. Cardoso claims he is increasing interest rates to discourage borrowing, thereby reducing liquidity. That is the amount of cash in circulation. He doesn't consider that discouraging borrowing will kill small businesses. Now, let me get a bit personal here. In the last 3 months, I personally have lent to 5 business owners to prevent their businesses from collapsing after they ran away from the high interest rates of microfinance banks that they were previously borrowing from. One of the business owners is a widow with 3 children. You can imagine that kind of situation. 3 others, family men. Look at the kind of frustration that these people are bringing upon Nigerians. I am not just talking. I am doing business in this country and I know what these guys have done to the economy. TINUBU and his team have finished the economy of this country. Next update here is another lie busted. When the TINUBU regime came out to say that the Port Harcourt refinery was now in operation, we knew it was a lie. They lied to score cheap political points, but after they were busted by oil marketers and investigative journalists, the NNPCL has now come out to confess. The confession is not yet total, but they have started confessing. Look at how the papers reported it. Nigerian Petroleum Company NNPCL denies selling products from Port Harcourt Refinery to marketers. Reporters. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has claimed that only its retail outlets are receiving products from the reopened Port Harcourt Refinery in Rivers State. Reporters had on Wednesday reported that the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, said that the Port Harcourt Refinery was selling to oil marketers at 1,045 naira per litre. In a statement released late Wednesday, NNPCL spokesperson Olufemi Soneye denied the allegation, stating that the company had not commenced bulk sales to other marketers. We have not yet commenced bulk sales and we have not yet opened the purchase portal as we are still finalizing the necessary processes, Soneye stated. He explained that the company's current product stock, which includes fees and levies, was procured from the Dangote refinery. You heard that from the horse's mouth. He said their current stock, the company's current stock, was procured from the Dangote refinery. When I said yesterday that they were buying from Dangote refinery, one Yeye TINUBU supporter came into the comments to defend NNPC. I hope you are watching this video. For the umpteenth time, I have won the debates I've had with APC and TINUBU supporters on every platform. I win them with proofs. And the NNPCL is claiming now that they are going to refine. That is a lie. They will continue purchasing from Dangote refinery and they will keep lying to Nigerians that the PH refinery is now working. That is the plan. And they have been busted so early. And without a doubt, the APC are what we say they are. They have come to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And for Nigerians to have the freedom, mental and material freedom that other rich democratic nations across the world enjoy, they must come together and get the APC out of power. Point blank, period. Now, let us look at those 2 updates that have become the major talking points in the Nigerian political media space. First is details of that atrocity going on in the power sector, and next is that video that shows the disagreement between senators as regards the deliberation of TINUBU's new tax reform bill. Let's start by taking that update from the Ministry of Power. Look at how the papers reported it. Transmission Company of Nigeria says 8.8 billion spent to repair vandalized towers in 2024. Reporters. The Nigerian government has spent no fewer than 8.8 billion to repair 128 vandalized electric towers nationwide in 11 months. The managing director of TCN, Sule Abdulaziz, disclosed this in a recent quarterly power sector working group meeting held in Abuja, saying the money was spent from January to November 2024. Abdulaziz was represented by Olugbenga Ajiboye, Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider TCN, who stated that vandals or robbers had demolished 128 transmission towers around the country during the time under consideration. He regretted that when the vandals were captured and turned over to authorities for prosecution, they were released on theft charges rather than vandalism. He said, "As I talk to you today, 128 of our towers have been destroyed by either vandals or bandits. To date, we have spent about 8.8 billion by our estimation to put them back to full and functional use," he stated. "It is so sad that each time the vandals were caught and taken to the police for prosecution, the police would arrest them for theft instead of vandalism, and they would be bailed. This comes amid the surge in cases of vandalism, which had negatively impacted the country's national grid and electricity supply." You heard that. 8.8 billion naira spent within just 11 months to fix the 128 towers that were vandalized. And he said it there clearly. He said, even when they catch the vandals and they hand them over to the police, they will be released shortly after. And does anyone listening know what is happening there? Because now RNG, the people that are sending them to vandalize are still the same people spending the money. It's just an avenue for them to loot everything you see. Most of these things that we even call problems, they are caused by APC. They are avenues for them to loot money, from insecurity down to the very last problem bedeviling this country today. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take a few tweet reactions. Ezekiel Haruna here says, "How much is the power plant itself where they do repair of 8.8 billion naira or more? That is it. How much do they use to construct these plants, these towers, that you are repaying 8.8 billion naira for just 128 of them? Billions just flying around anyhow in this regime." And this studio by Akinfo Shile Shola says, "We are finished in this country. Nigerians are finished. Because this treasury, I don't know what will be left of it after 4 years of TINUBU." Now, let us see that heated argument on the floor of the Senate. It all began when the Deputy Senate President offered to call in the chairman of the FIRS to begin discussing the tax reform bill, an item that was not included in the Senate's items for the day's session. See the video.
What began as a routine plenary session in the Senate quickly spiraled into a tense and dramatic affair barely an hour after lawmakers had settled for the business of the day. The session, initially scheduled to address items listed on the order paper, took an unexpected turn when the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibrin, made an announcement to suspend its rules.
In conjunction with the leadership, decided to invite the chairman of FIRS and experts in tax laws to come down here to brief us about the tax bill. Let consultants tell us what is there. Let the crafters of the bill, that is FIRS, tell us about the bill. We want to make it as open as possible.
The move sparked immediate protests from some senators who raised strong objections.
I don't see anywhere whereby the senators should allow these people to come here and make the kind of interactions they so want. Committees of the Senate and Appropriation can invite for the interaction of this manner, no, but not the Senate in session.
Visibly agitated, another senator reacted with an outburst.
We should not in any way try to use the position of the Senate, because the order paper is clear and we have been doing this. I have no problem having them to come here and explain whatever. We have been doing that, but we follow known procedures. It is not a matter that you just come and tell us after we are doing business of the day. Mr. President, you can have your way, but I will have my say. Please, I beg you in the name of God, in the name of God, this matter is very, very important to not only us, but Nigerians that we represent. And we swear by Bible and Holy Quran that will represent the interests of the people. And that
you have made your point. Can I respond to you?
You can rule me out of order.
Let me respond to you. Please. We are not here for rhetoric. We are acting on fact. Excuse me. Order please. The Senate shall by resolution regulate its procedure. This is what we have just done. This is the resolution that was just passed. You needed to have known what we have done. I therefore rule you out of order.
At the height of the disagreement, the aggrieved senators attempted a walkout in protest, but rescinded their decision after interventions. Minutes after, Senator Ali Ndume demanded an apology from the Deputy Senate President.
You called what I just mentioned on the point of order that I raised. You sitting there to say it's rhetoric. I think it's very unfortunate and you should apologize.
I don't think the word rhetoric is a negative word. It's not an offense. Nobody used that against you. In the context it was used, it wasn't used against you. It was a general statement. I therefore rule out of order.
You saw that. And to be honest, I haven't studied the tax reforms bill. I don't know so much about the bill in totality. Of course, copies of the bill have not been made available to the general public. But I know a few things. There are a few things that I'm very sure of. And one of them is this. It is that TINUBU or any team set up by him will not come up with anything that will ease the pain of Nigerians. That one is not possible. Then the second thing I know about this bill is the one thing that almost everyone knows about it. And it is the fact that the bill proposes to raise value-added tax. They want to increase VAT from the present 4.5% that it is to 7.5%. And anyone who has been following our economy well from the time of Buhari would know the consequences of increasing value-added tax. It is tremendous. It is an automatic increase of the prices of every single item in this country. Every single one. So it's just like amplifying the inflation rate. And the third thing that I know about that tax reform bill is that the bill proposes to increase import duties. It proposes to increase the cost of importation. And what they will tell you is that they are taxing the rich, that all the importers are rich. They will pretend like they don't know that when they increase import duties, the burden falls back on the consumers because importers will tremendously increase the prices of goods. If they were clearing with 50 million naira before, and you say they should start clearing with 200 million naira, they will just smile and then they will transfer everything on the prices of the goods. We've seen it repeatedly. It's a normal chain reaction. So they don't even worry about it. So when the government comes out to lie that they are taxing the rich and you go and increase import duties, you go and increase value-added tax, you are just indirectly slaughtering the poor. These are the things that I know about this bill. And I don't know why everything has to be about taxation. And some people have been brainwashed in the media. They are telling them that Northerners are kicking against the bill because it doesn't favor them. And when they say all these things, I just laugh sometimes. You believe that there is a bill that can come from TINUBU that will favor you, a common man in the South. Then it will not favor a senator in the North. I don't know why people still have this kind of mentality. You should know by now that anything that these guys sit down and design is always against the poor. By the time they make it public and we begin to scrutinize the bill, we'll bring out things that will make people weep just by saying it, even before it takes effect. These are people that are evil. They cannot do anything to make the people smile. There are things they can do. We are looking at reforms, that the reforms may favor you. Okay, Refinery working and the price of petrol dropping, will that one not favor you? Repairing the major roads in Nigeria, instead of spending 15 trillion naira to do the Lagos Calabar coastal road, will that one not favor you? Allowing the subsidy on education to continue so that people don't drop out of school, will that one not favor the general public? Why is it that the many things that can favor the general public, they are not doing those ones? Then they are telling you that this one that you don't have access to, this one that you have not studied, that you don't know what is inside, will favor you, and you are believing them. And even the little that you know about the bill does not favor you, like the increase of value added tax and the increase of import duties. Those ones don't favor you. So why are you thinking that there are some hidden aspects of it that will favor you as a common man? It's a very unreasonable way to think. And I just believe that if this bill is passed, and it is going on, it has passed second reading. From the updates that we are seeing flying around, the bill has passed second reading. And by 2025, it will enter full implementation if it is absorbed by the Senate. And Nigerians go enter yawa. Under this TINUBU regime, it will be from one suffering to another. And that is why I keep telling Nigerians that they must cast aside their differences, come together to kick the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news. We wanna go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go.